You've killed. You believe there are things worth killing for?
Not things. Not property.
What about beauty? Flawless, timeless beauty. Perfection itself. Wouldn't you kill for that?
Life is beautiful. That girl was beautiful.
Yes, she was. But the beauty was transitory.
Welcome to Highlander Rewatched, the podcast where each and every week we watch another episode of Highlander and talk about it in detail. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Keith.
I'm Kyle.
Eamon.
All right, and we are your Rewatchers. And this week we're going to jump right in with episode 19, Eye of the Beholder. This first aired May 8th, 1993. It was directed by Dennis Berry. He was a French director. He did like a ton of Highlander, like 34 episodes, plus like a bunch of Raven episodes.
Whoa.
He also did, I noticed on his IMDb, one episode of Rin Tin Tin Canine Cop, which I remember aired on like the Family Channel in America. And
With always the same tagline, it's no secret how one dog solves crime.
Oh, it's not a secret.
No, it's no secret.
I was going to ask what his secret was. I need to watch the show.
I always remember
No, you
watching, like, that would air, like, around the time Zorro would air, or Maniac Mansion was another show that was on the Family Channel at that time. Yeah.
Also, the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Oh, is that with that guy? Isn't he dead?
Lou Albano.
Lou
Yeah.
Albano.
Lou
a lot of
Albano.
wrestlers in that show.
Captain Lou Albano.
And they say the F word in the very first episode. He
Yep.
goes, fuck you, Luigi. What? And it's clear as day. It's amazing.
it is real good.
Wow.
Fuck you, Luigi. Oh, man.
Super Mario Brothers Super Show rewatched.
Yeah. Thought that'd be awful.
That would be torture.
Who would it be torture for? Us?
Yes.
Yeah, I think everybody. This was written by a French writer, Christian Bouveron. He did 4 episodes of Highlander, and it was also co-written by Lawrence Shore. This was really... he did 8 episodes of Highlander. He has a very sparse career. So he worked on Highlander in the 90s, but then after Highlander, he only has 3 other IMDb credits. 1 in 2000, 1 in 2007, and then 1 in 2015, which is for something called Hanukkah Hoops, which is a documentary about basketball and the uplifting spirit of Judaism.
What?
What? And he dunked for 8 days and nights.
8 crazy nights.
This episode... it's really good.
That is
Hanukkah Hoops.
what?
This episode guest stars Nigel Terry as Gabriel Piton. He's got a lot of credits, but most notably, he is King Arthur in the 1980 83 movie Excalibur.
Oh, that's pretty cool. He was also in Troy.
Haven't seen that in a while.
Who.
Ugh.
Uh-oh.
That was for Troy, but
Oh, I thought okay.
We're going to get in trouble here.
Yeah, I know. A lot of angry emails. IMDb episode description for this one is: Gabrielle Piton, an immortal fashion designer, kills one of his models after she finds a stash of stolen artifacts in his apartment. Now the girl's roommate, who is an acquaintance of Richie's, is in danger of the same fate. And Duncan, who is an old friend of Piton's, must step in to prevent his friend from killing another innocent person. Like, this description sets up everybody's relationship to each other.
We don't need all that description. You're supposed to be brief.
yeah. And then a police officer, a stranger to all of them, attempts to figure out the crime.
So yeah, we start in a dark mansion-y bedroom.
It's not that dark because it just goes straight to banging. Immediately, that is all you get.
Yeah, there's
is
just
naked people.
side boobs.
Yep.
It's just like a bad romance. And then there's like, it's just like a bad romance novel because it's just like these naked people having the clunkiest dialogue.
Yep.
I look around and I can't believe I'm in your arms. It's like, oh, God. Bleh.
The David Bowie looking dude.
He looks like David Carradine.
David Carradine. He gets
Bill.
up. He goes to do something. I don't know.
He says they have to prepare for a show. What type of show? We don't know.
All right.
But,
So
yeah.
the girl gets up and I don't know how she does it. Does she set off a music box and that opens a secret door, or are these unrelated?
Yeah, she has like an earring, and she has two earrings one for both
each ear.
ears. Yeah, and she has one, but she's missing the other. So she's like looking for it. She touches the music box, and the music box is like the switch to open up the secret passageway.
So I'm no architect, but if I was designing a secret passageway, the trigger would not be something that invites people to touch it.
Yeah.
Like, by design, people are going to touch this music box to wind it up.
Yep.
Like, you want it to be a thing that people aren't going to fiddle with.
Yeah.
You know?
Like your tax return.
Yeah, or like that random...
Or a fiddle.
A fiddle.
A fiddle. Could be a fiddle. No one knows how to play a fiddle.
Hey diddle
Except
diddle.
the devil.
Yeah, that. So, yeah, anyway, point is, Gabriel Piton, you should not have booked your secret passage this way, unfortunately.
So she goes in, and this room is filled with, like, artifacts. There's
Yeah.
beautiful paintings, there's sculptures, there's stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of, like, Connor's hexagonal room he has in the first movie. That's
Oh yeah,
like his, like, I don't know, it's like his little secret space.
Yeah.
And he keeps, like, all the sweet stuff there.
his secret stash.
Yep.
But unfortunately for this woman, this was for David Carradine's eyes only.
And also one of these paintings, I guess, was stolen.
Yeah,
And
which
he
she
has it?
points out. She just goes, "Oh, isn't that the painting that was stolen?"
And she says it like a robot. She's like, Francesca Di Rimini, isn't that the painting that was stolen last year in Italy? It's like,
Also, why is she keeping tabs? Why is she keeping tabs on a painting that has been stolen a year ago?
yeah.
In
Like-
another country.
Yeah.
That
And then she recognizes on sight. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, there it is.
Wait a minute, that's that stolen painting.
it's like, what the fuck?
So Eli's like, I'm sorry you had to see that. And he pulls out this weird, like, ice pick looking, or needle thing.
It's like a giant needle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just rams it through her neck, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also, you must not respect your stuff all that much. And I'm not saying there should be like gore on TV, but you just stab someone like through their jugular vein basically
Yeah.
with a needle. Like there is going to be some mess and like some spurting around all of your priceless paintings and artifacts. Like, let's try to avoid that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says this whole collection is connected to the most beautiful women in history. Like, this is like serial killer. Like, does he also have like a collection of like toes or something? Like, I don't know. This is a weird collection he has.
Yeah, he's immediately creepy as hell.
So cut to Richie at a restaurant.
He's ordering some fruit de mer, or he gets it delivered to his table, and it's this big seafood platter. And he's like, I ordered the fruit salad. It's like, no, you ordered fruit de mer, which means fruits of the sea. Mer is sea, like maritime. Eh?
Right. Wow.
Um,
Very good. You got a little lesson there, folks.
Yep, this has been your
Etymology rewatched.
etymology. Yeah. Like,
Richie's response is so absurd. Afterwards, he's like, I just don't understand why they can't call things what they are. And it's like, they can't call things what they are in a language that is not spoken in their country.
Yeah.
so yeah, Richie's like a 6-year-old. There's this woman sitting next to him, and she's like, oh, it's good. And he's like, you try it. Like, I don't want to eat it. Like,
Yeah. Apparently Richie hates shellfish or seafood.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is a big tie-in to the Band of Brothers episode where he's like, oh, like when we go to France, like I'm not going to have to eat like frogs and oysters.
Oh,
It's
you're
like,
right.
Not
Yeah.
right
Snails.
away.
He says
You got to
snails.
wait.
Oh,
It's like you
snails.
got to wait
Not
4
oysters.
episodes in.
And then it's like oyster time as well. So
Oyster time.
his pretty companion decides to join him for
Yeah.
some shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, this
Shrimp.
also starts a new trend of what I have called in all of my notes. Fuck me, I'm Richie. Like, the way he's like, hi, I'm Richie. Like, I am keeping hard track and keeping a
Rock hard track.
I'm keeping track of every time Richie goes, hi, I'm Richie to a lady, and I have a whole folder in my computer of every clip.
Wait a minute.
He does it a lot.
A whole folder on your computer, you say?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Richie.
Jesus Christ.
Also, like Richie is just constantly punching above his weight.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. Maybe the ladies find Stan Kirsch more attractive than I would dare assume, but he is like,
He is a virile young lover, as we
Yeah.
always say. Well, I agree. Like, we also set up later, this person is like a fashion model. Like, So Richie is basically trying to pick up a supermodel by, not knowing how to read French.
Right.
And yeah, it's like, hey, what's your move, Richie? How do you pick up the ladies? Oh, I get really picky about food. Ladies love it when you're grossed out by oysters. They say that oysters are an aphrodisiac. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
But then the cut from this is amazing. 'Cause
Oh,
it just
yeah.
cuts straight to, she drives me crazy.
Ooh, ooh. Or
Yeah.
is it ooh? We don't know yet.
I looked it up. It's ooh.
It is ooh?
But I like yours. I think
I like
Fuck
this-
you, songwriters. Yeah.
I like this fan theory better.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're treated to Fine Young Cannibals, which is a nice tie-in to the recently enjoyed For Tomorrow We Die.
Yeah. So is that like a deal they cut? Like,
probably.
Yeah.
They were like, we'll feature your song.
I'm glad they showed restraint in not playing it on his episode.
Yeah, I think that would have been really
Yeah.
weird.
That would have been groan-inducing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did it with Joan Jett. They did the
Cherry Bomb.
Cherry Bomb.
yeah.
Although, yeah, Kyle, I think you brought this up, that it does create a weird little thing, because Joan Jett and the Fine Young Cannibals exist in this universe.
Yeah, so they have
Yeah.
doppelgangers. Yeah.
Only, in this case, one of them is an insane murderer who kills people with gas and has a hook hand. So, that would be an awkward meeting. Like, what happened to, like, old power? Like, what about, like, bad Spock? He just had a beard. This is going to be extra jarring. He's got gas grenades and a pirate hand.
Can you imagine if it was the same character and he had to do, like, concerts? He's like, just have a hook hand now.
Yeah, we're at the fashion show. Turns out that Duncan and Tessa and Richie are invited and all have backstage passes.
Is that a thing? Is there such a thing as backstage passes to a fashion show?
I
It's
think-
like,
yeah.
hey, do you want
Yeah.
to see a bunch
Yeah.
of women change clothes?
Yep. Sorry.
Like, I just would never have assumed that's a thing.
No,
and it didn't look like anyone else had backstage passes either.
There were a lot of people back there.
Yeah,
they were congratulating it.
involved in the show.
No, there were people, like, in tuxedos, and they were like,
Yeah, they had, like-
magnifique.
Yeah,
Magnifique.
yeah.
after it was over, when it was done,
I think
when
it's
the
normal.
show was over, they were allowed back there.
I think it's okay.
The show's over. I don't know. But anyway, so they're there, and Duncan doesn't look too pleased to be there.
Oh, and it should be noted also that Maya is one of the models. That's a reveal.
Right, that's revealed later, yeah. So it turns out that this is a show featuring Pitone's like new collection.
and that's David Carradine, the
Yep.
David Carradine looking guy.
Yep, the murderer guy who McLeod is acquainted with. He's another one of his old friends.
Right. So we get to learn about their friendship. There's a flashback to 1786 in like a whorehouse.
In a harem.
Yeah.
It is
So Duncan
not flattering.
and Pitone are like drinking and like whoring it up.
Yeah, they are drunk.
Yeah.
They are very
Yep.
drunk.
I like seeing this Duncan. It's fun. The crazy, wild Duncan.
Yeah.
Youthful.
Kind of a jackass, but
Yeah, these guys are assholes.
yeah. And Pitone is like asleep on a woman, and Duncan has to like wake him up. Like, we have to leave, and he pulls like pearls out of his shirt, Pitone, and he's like, "Oh, I stole these," blah blah, blah. And he like smells them. So I'm like,
Gross.
do pearls don't like, they don't smell like anything, do they? Like,
No.
Let's not think too hard about this.
Oyster connection.
you're right. So he's stolen these pearls, and he's bragging about how he likes to please women and steal their jewelry. So they go outside, and it turns out somebody has sent some soldiers to get these pearls back.
This is a really fun scene. I like this a lot. I don't know. There's, again, great costuming, and it's like very swashbuckly. Like, the music's really like upbeat.
Yeah.
Kind of. It
like
reminds
a
me of
weird-
like a classic old movie.
Yeah, it's like kind of heroic movies. It's
Yeah.
like the old Robin Hood movie or something. The Adventures of Robin Hood.
I also think they do a really good job of setting up their friendship. Like,
Yeah.
in kind of these two scenes, I'm like, yeah, these guys are great friends. Like, it feels really fun. They're having a good time together. Because sometimes I feel like in these flashbacks,
You're like, why are they?
we're like,
friends?
why do they even like each
Yeah,
other at all? Like, these two guys are having fun. Like, this is a very like bro down, ho down sort of episode.
Yeah, and like Bro Downs, this guy is so rapey. His dialogue, if they didn't make such a conscious effort to be like, oh yeah, women really like this guy, he actually does want to make them happy, he's just like so rapey.
Yep.
I would just be like, yeah, he just seems like he's like, oh yeah, they wanted it. Like,
Ugh,
he's
yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
He is quite unsavory to me.
The other thing is they don't kill any of these guys, the soldiers. They just kind of
Yeah, they just kind of
tussle
punch
with
him. And,
them. Yeah.
yeah.
Which would have been if they'd killed these guys, they would have been such assholes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh wait, so you stole something from from this woman who apparently liked you, and then you murdered the well-intentioned soldiers trying to recover them? Okay.
Yeah. Then it flashes back to the fashion show, and
Duncan and Pitone are getting, I guess, kind of reacquainted at this fashion show, and they have this crazy interaction that is flirty. Like, if this could definitely be taken a different way.
taken out of context, this is
It's a doozy.
So it's Gabriel Pitone now. Still trying to make women happy, I see.
Magnifique.
Thank you, thank you. Succeeding, Duncan, succeeding. You're looking fit, not quite in my league.
And he looks him up and down.
Out.
Well, I guess you don't really want to put your money where your mouth is.
I have
Something else
a
with
training
mountains.
area at my apartment if you care to join me.
Yeah.
It's like 4 reaction shots of them pumping eyebrows at each other.
Yeah.
So Duncan and Pitone, good friends.
Yep.
Yeah, which also, maybe people can weigh in. Again, just amping up how creepy I think this guy is. He's kind of old looking and not very attractive.
Oh, I think he's got kind of a silver fox quality to him.
I suppose other people will have to weigh in on that. But I was just like, my notes just say, him?
Yeah.
All right, we'll ask. That'll be a Facebook question.
Yeah.
Is Pitone a sexy guy? Richie and Maya kind of walk away to get a drink together. And then we cut back to see their interaction. And Richie's just like, what's up?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, man, you are blowing it. Like,
Yeah.
this is no good.
He's a smooth operator.
Smooth operator. Sade.
Richie.
Richie then immediately is trying to move in on the model from earlier, but he gets kind of shot down because Gabriel decides, like, oh, no, she's coming with me to a party.
Right.
You peasant.
I wanted to say, when Richie runs into Maya at the fashion show, Richie says, I'm a bit of a fashion monger myself.
Which I'm a little unclear on which things can and can't be mongered, but
We know fish.
Yeah.
Fish can be.
fish and cheese
Fish,
can certainly
cheese.
be. Rumors can be mongered. Maybe fashion as well. We're not sure here.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
The rules of mongering are as complicated as the rules of the game. Yeah.
Kill Bill is escorting Maya out of the fashion show. A cop comes up who does not sound French at all.
No, he like accosts them and he's like, I've got all these questions, and yeah, he has a complete American accent,
Yep.
like not even an attempt. And again, it's 80 yard, and again he like flubs lines. Like this is weird. It almost sounds like it's 80 yard with a French person that they got to speak in an American accent, speaking like phonetically. They were like,
Yeah.
sound these things out, and it'll make a sentence. Like these are words.
Yep.
It's really weird. Also, there's a really funny like background dialogue with some photographers when they start walking out. There's one photographer, he's like, I'm going to take the shot over there. And then he like runs, but it's like, you missed the shot. Like, it's such gobbledygook.
So they go downtown, but Richie is very suspicious of this whole thing.
Yeah. Well, the
And-
questions, I guess we should say, did we say they found the woman who Pitone murdered?
Yes, they found her body in an alleyway next to the Seine.
And Maya and Pitone, well, Pitone obviously knows this person, but it's the model that Maya replaced for the fashion show.
And they're roommates.
Right.
And they're asking her to identify the body because they couldn't contact this woman's family.
Right.
So back in the cafe, I guess like the next day, Richie's there with Maya, and he's asking questions.
He's suspicious.
Right.
Like, already. Why?
I don't know why.
Just because he doesn't like Pitone?
Yes, that is 100% of it.
Yep.
So this is an odd scene because he's like, he asks questions and it's like, oh, we've only been roommates for a couple months and like was seeing anybody, blah, blah, blah. All the scene tells us is that they weren't roommates for long, which is, I think, irrelevant. And that the relationship, like she was seeing somebody, but it was a secret. But we already know it's a secret because in the first scene,
They say it's a secret.
they say it's a secret.
Yeah.
So it's like we've learned nothing from this.
What we do learn is that Richie is blowing this. Like
Yep.
he somehow manages to like kind of have a date or like a one-on-one with this person, and he's being such a dick. Like he is really aggressively questioning her. It's like,
Yeah.
oh hey, that person you wanted a date with, you're on it right now.
Yeah.
This might be that date, and
Yeah.
you're being a huge asshole.
Yep. Maya storms out because, Richie's grilling her. And Richie comes back to the barge, and he witnesses Duncan doing something on top of the barge.
We need a montage.
Duncan is dressed like a weird pirate person, or he's also even dressed like the cook from Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He's got like sweatpants, a bandana, a vest, and he's swinging a pole around.
Yeah, he's like, it's supposed to be like some martial arts training, but it just looks like
It looks all made up.
yeah.
Especially with the way they cut it, it makes it look even more confusing.
Yeah.
Because there's all these like cross dissolves where he's like still on top of himself as he's swinging the staff around.
And it doesn't look long enough for what he's doing or something. Like, or it looks like a kendo sword, like that he's holding the wrong way or something. I mean, I'm no expert, so correct me if I'm wrong. But this looks like they're
puzzling.
Yeah, they're just, to me, it's like, Duncan, take this stick and just do some gobbledygook on like the top of the barge, because you need to be doing something.
Also, he's wearing headphones, and I think listening to like a Walkman.
Yeah.
What is Duncan listening to?
Oh, the Fine Young Cannibals.
Naturally.
Yeah, or classical music.
Yeah, he always he likes to put on classical music at completely inappropriate
Yeah.
times.
Like when you're training, that'll get you really pumped up.
But just on the topic of what the hell is he doing, and why is he doing it now? Because this is the first time we've ever seen him doing whatever this style is.
Yeah.
And then later, he does take Patone up on his offer to get hot and sweaty in their
Yeah.
training room
Right.
together, and they're doing some kind of staff fighting that they
Right.
both appear to be proficient in.
Yeah.
So it's like they never really quite establish why this is a thing or
There's even
what their
another.
connection
There's even
to it
another
is.
scene where Duncan is doing Tai Chi on the bank
Yeah.
there, and it's like there are 3 training sequences in this episode.
So Richie's like asking about Patone and women.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, can I interrupt?" And he's like, "This isn't a good time, but what?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"What's the deal with women?"
Yeah.
Like,
Duncan's just kind of poking at him the whole time, also, which is pretty funny.
When really the answer is be fucking nicer, Richie,
Yeah.
and don't grill people when. Anyway,
Don't grill your hopeful girlfriend about her friend being murdered the day after it happened.
yeah. It's like, hey, you know what's really romantic? Your dead friend. Am I right?
Fruit steamer.
so Duncan is like, you're dealing with someone that has 300 years of sexual experience with women. Like, you're
He doesn't
like
say
no
the word
contest.
sexual.
He just says experience, but like you're no contest. Like,
Also,
he's a pro
yeah.
at
Also,
being a creep. Like,
I feel like Richie has that nice guy syndrome where he's like, oh, I'm such a nice guy. Why don't any women ever go out with me? It's like, because you fucking suck, Richie. All right? That's why.
Because you're really not a nice guy.
Yeah, because you're an asshole.
The supermodel now is back in that same bedroom where Patone murdered the first girl, and lo, she discovers that earring, because this guy, as we've established, is like a jewel thief and can't help himself. So he's the one who stole the other earring.
right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But he doesn't steal both. What's that about?
Yeah.
Oh, he needs one. It's just a trophy, because it's not like he needs money.
I know that.
And it's not like he's going to wear them.
Or maybe he's going to start a new one earring fashion trend.
Ooh,
Yeah. There you go.
All you have to do is kill someone and take one of their earrings.
That's right.
that's the trend.
So she sees this and then makes up an excuse and runs out.
Yeah.
And like any master sleuth, she takes this amazing clue to a total stranger.
Right, and she doesn't know what to do. She's talking to Richie, and
She takes it to Richie.
yeah, Richie. She doesn't know what to do because if she is wrong about this, it's gonna blow her like big shot at becoming like supermodel star. But if she's right, then this guy's a murderer, and that's bad news. But actually, either way, she's worried about not becoming a star. Like she seems to not really care in a weird way. She's like, well, like maybe he did do it, but but my chances of being a star.
Yeah.
It's like, your friend, right?
Yeah. Also, he's a murderer. The other thing I thought was funny about this scene, he's like, oh, so this earring proves that Patone was with Cynthia the night which she was murdered. And then Maya says, but he told the police that he did not see her. That's
Also, I
kind
don't know
of the
that
point.
the earring times it. Though, if she was wearing the other earring when she died, maybe it does.
Right.
But,
Yeah, she said when she went to identify the body, she was only wearing one earring.
Right.
Yeah.
So Richie decides he's gonna like break into like the pimp mansion and scope this place out. So 2 notes on this. So, well, first Patone leaves, and this is Richie's opportunity to get in. I checked out the original script, and what they shot is not what was written.
Huh.
The original script has Richie dress up like an old woman with groceries and he hobbles his way to the front gate, and someone lets him in because he can't like put the bag down, and that's how he gets into the.
Are you fucking kidding
Nope.
me?
I am
Oh,
not.
good.
So that's that, which is amazing.
I wish they filmed that.
I know, right?
That needs to be a deleted scene.
The reason Richie ostensibly is breaking in here is to find some evidence that he killed the woman, which, spoiler alert, he does not find. But he presents this by saying, like, oh, this earring isn't enough. This isn't enough. It's like, enough for what? You just proved that this man was with a dead woman the day she died. And at bare minimum, you proved that he lied to the police during the official investigation into this thing. It's like, yeah, maybe you're not going to convict him on that, but you can probably do things like get a warrant and discover the murder stash.
So I have 2 questions for you, Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle, you're a lawyer, right?
Yes.
All right. Establish that for the court. Kyle is the lawyer. So 2 things. One is if Richie found anything, is that like admissible because he stole it? Like, is Richie going to blow this because he's acquiring evidence like illegally?
So usually no. It's the standard. I don't know what it is in France, so who the fuck knows?
God knows.
But in the United States, for the most part, probably differs state by state, but the general principle is if it's not police directed. Fuck you, you
Sorry,
asked.
I'm just teasing.
All right, everyone out there, you'll never know the answer to this
No,
question.
tell us. Tell us.
So
Tell us.
if it's not police directed and someone gives it to the police are allowed to accept it. They
Gotcha.
couldn't like tell a civilian go steal that. But if someone acquires a piece of evidence that the police would not have been able to go in and retrieve themselves, it's usually okay. Because again, the Constitution only deters government action.
Gotcha. All right,
not
so
private citizens.
the second point I wanted to make was, as you brought up, like, well, they do have enough to kind of like get a warrant because of this earring thing. Maybe they do have enough to get a warrant, but she kind of maybe blew it by taking it out of there. She's her roommate. So when they present, like, she found, like, Maya has the earring and it was in your apartment, he'll just be like, no, it wasn't. It was probably at her apartment. She just picked it up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he has so much deniability to this now. It's insane.
Kind of, but
What do you mean? Like, he can just be like, it wasn't here, and she is a person that totally could have had that earring because she lived with her.
well, for one thing, he wouldn't be able to present that before police raided his house.
Right. No, I'm sure they could get a warrant, but again, there's no evidence there anyway, so.
Well, there is if they get into his secret
secret?
goddamn room.
Yeah.
Or, like, who knows what the hell else is in that house. At bare
Toes.
minimum.
Probably toes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the stolen painting. Like,
Stolen
yeah.
paintings. Like, his house is apparently full of contraband.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
But
I'm
would they take that action with just that piece of evidence?
I don't know.
Maybe. At bare minimum, you better believe they'd be watching him very closely and, you know,
Perhaps.
actually investigating him.
Yeah.
He'd become a suspect.
Yeah.
But again, the police in this show are, as this episode again proves, truly and righteously incompetent on this show.
I don't even like. There's not even like the only time we see police in this episode. Well, I guess except for when they come to question Maya. So never mind.
And when there's other many instances.
Yeah, but like in related to the like this murder case, there's like no movement from the police except for that like one example.
Yeah.
like all
The
other-
investigation just seems to stop.
Yeah,
And then they show up later, I guess. But we'll get to that.
So Richie finds no evidence. And worse yet, he trips some kind of silent alarm and Kill Bill comes back.
Because he's got, like, a beeper.
yep. He's got like a sensor that goes to his car. I don't know.
Richie hides in a closet. Patone finds him in the closet. They get in like a weird scuffle, and Richie makes up this ludicrous story about he's like, oh, like they told me if I stole your designs, like my debts would be paid.
Yep.
It's like, what guys? It's like the guys with the noses. Like
The guys with the noses. Yeah.
it's kind of funny, I guess. But then Richie throws like a bottle of brandy. It breaks on the ground, and he's like, "Are you through?" And he's like, "Not yet." And he lights him on fire.
This is the craziest
insanity.
thing.
Yeah.
It's so bonkers. It's like, hey, I came here looking for evidence, but I figured I'd commit some light arson while I was at it.
So he could have burned his entire house down.
And
Like,
there's
this guy
definitely
lights
other
on
people,
fire.
There's
Yeah.
definitely other people I think that live in this place. Like I think this is like a fancy apartment building.
yeah.
And again, he does light this man on fire. Lights him on fire.
We'll have to put this clip on Facebook because it's also kind of amazing. Like the stunt guy they have that's lit on fire, just flailing around.
Also, he recovers from being like burnt alive pretty quickly.
Well, we don't know. He could have just stopped, dropped, and rolled off camera. You know.
Yes.
Richie goes back and Duncan's yelling at him. Do we want to play this clip?
Yeah, let's play
Duncan
this. This is
yelling
fun.
at Richie.
What's the matter with you? In all this time that you've been with me, haven't you learned anything yet?
Oh, Mac, give me a break. He killed that girl. I'm going to the cops.
Then tell them what? You found an earring, so you broke into his apartment and you set him on fire?
What you don't do, break into someone's house and set them on fire.
And fail at your mission.
Yeah.
And utterly fail at what you set out to do. So Richie is now on David Carradine's shit list.
And Mac has to go talk to Petone to try to clear this mess up.
So they have like this discussion while they're like sparring in his training room. It's kind of a fun scene. I like when there's like dialogue while people are fighting. Like, again, I wish they did that more with like some of the end fights, because I think it moves the plot a little bit more and you get some character development, like instead of just watching people slap each other with stuff.
Yeah.
Petone thinks it's like okay to kill for beauty. Like, this is again like weird twisted serial killer logic. Like, I don't know what his plan, like what is the deal? Like, he's like, the beauty's transitory, so you have to murder it? Like, I don't understand what that is.
Yeah, it makes zero sense. His position, I think written in a certain way might have been compelling, but I just don't understand what it is. I think it's just not clear enough.
Yep.
It's like, I guess the people die at like a point of perfection. Like, we'll never see them fade away and become like, eh.
But that, in context, that's not why he killed her. He killed her because she discovered his shit and happens to be a person who keeps track of missing French paintings or Italian paintings.
Makes no sense.
So why does he I mean, they've implied that he's done this before. So why do we think he's killed other people? Like, maybe it wasn't in this scenario, but I guess in other scenarios he's killed
I don't know.
for this weird beauty reason.
I guess, and like he's willing to. We get another flashback soon after, and he's willing to kill Duncan for
a necklace.
For a necklace.
Yeah.
So we get this flashback now, and normally this show flashbacks, like the transitions to a flashback, it'll be like it zooms in on someone's eye, it'll zoom into like they're usually kind of some like set piece or some element of the scene is in both the flashback and in the present. In this one, they just flash back to a woman having an orgasm. Like, it pulls out of her mouth, and it's just like,
It's surprising for, like, afternoon on UPN.
Yeah.
But Duncan is Duncaning the Duchess.
Duncaning. Yeah.
Duncan's the Duchess.
Yep. Duncan
Part
Donuts.
2.
Yeah.
right. But then he gets the buzz, and it turns out it's Petone.
Part 2, the buzz.
He's there stealing some more shit. And he's like, dude, he's like, you promised me you wouldn't steal. It's like, stop cock blocking me. Like,
and Patone's like, hey, listen, I saw the necklace. I liked it. What do you want me to do about it?
I can't just not take it.
Yeah. So Duncan's basically like, I'm not going to let you steal this necklace because it's my friend's and I told you not to. And Patone's like, well, I like it and I'm stealing it and there's not anything you can do about it. So they start fighting.
Right. Yeah, like he threatens, and like not even just like, hey, we're scuffling. He's like, yo, I will decapitate you, Duncan.
Yep. But they also established that it's like, I didn't stay here to take your head. And like, well, I didn't come down here to take your head. So like, they don't want to chop each other's heads off, but they're going to.
He has got to leave with these stupid pearls. Like,
yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, this guy's such an asshole.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, it's like, why are you still this guy's friend, Duncan? He's clearly a bad person.
Yep. Yeah. Also, there was something interesting I noticed in this fight is that Duncan is not fighting in this scene with his katana. So I was kind of curious. I haven't kept really good track of it throughout the show, but it's like at some point, like, you know, in his early days, we see him that he's got his like Scottish claymore.
Right.
He's had some different swords, but at some point he gets this katana.
And often in flashbacks, he is using it.
Right.
Yeah.
So in this flashback, it's 1803, and he does not have the katana. In the previous episode, The Lady and the Tiger, that was 1804 in Bavaria, and he did have his katana. So it's like, did he get it in between? So a little...
No.
Right.
Because I don't think he could have gotten to Japan and back in that amount of time.
So I looked up some stuff. So a little bit of a spoiler alert, because at some point we do find out there's like a whole episode in season 4 about how Duncan gets his sword, which is really cool. But yeah, he gets his sword, according to that episode, in 1778. So he's now had it for a while. So I guess he's
Yeah.
just, for some reason, not using it now.
Huh.
Whatever. But
Well, it doesn't really go with his outfit
yeah.
Duncan accessorizes.
because he knows that friendship is mortal's most valuable treasure.
That's right.
I was like, it's like, oh, I got that in a fortune cookie once.
Yeah.
Or,
It's like a Care Bear slogan or something. Duncan's Care Bear stare. Anyway, so Duncan wins and spares Patone. After Patone is groaning, "What a loss to generations of women yet unborn."
yeah,
He lays it on thick.
yeah, I cannot get over how, just seedy I find this man.
Yeah.
Like, he is, I don't know.
He's gross.
He's gross.
He's
I don't know if this
oily.
character didn't
He is
age
oily.
well
He is.
or what, or if he was always this gross. But
Yeah.
I don't know. No bueno.
Nope.
So coming out of this flashback, we are treated to this amazing scene of essentially Richie is playing Highlander. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he's
That's
alone.
amazing.
He's alone in the barge, or he thinks he's alone, and he gets Duncan's sword. Also, Duncan doesn't have his sword with him, which is not
That's
good.
weird. Maybe that was a show of good faith to Patone that I'm just here to talk.
Yeah,
It's a risk.
yeah. So then Richie's like quoting The Gathering episode. He's like, "I'm Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod," and then he even does like a Christopher Lambert voice.
His Connor voice is amazing.
Yeah.
We'll put the clip on Facebook. It's awesome.
Same clan, different vintage. And he's also making whoosh sounds.
Yeah.
It should be noted. It's like me pretending to have a lightsaber when I was 5.
Yeah, that is what it's like.
It's like, yeah. How old is Richie right now?
He's like 18, 19 at
years
the
old.
oldest. Yeah. Mac basically called in a favor, and Patone promised not to harm Richie.
Right.
For lighting him on fire.
So Duncan has this really intense scene with Richie where he like instructs him how to defeat an immortal. I don't know. It's kind of intense.
Yeah.
You know how you fight an immortal?
With your wits and cunning.
You take out your gun and you shoot him in the chest. And you shoot him again and again. And when he rises,
I shoot him again.
no. You run like hell.
So,
Crazy piano music. This reminded me of The Matrix when somebody's telling
Oh, yeah.
Neo, like, it's almost like the same thing. Like, oh, when you say an agent,
Yeah.
like, what do you do? And he says something, he's like, no, you run. Like, it reminded me of that a little bit. But it's pretty intense.
Yeah. Yeah, this feels like it has like a lot of gravitas to it.
Yeah.
It's like,
but Richie decides to take this a little too literally. And just decides he wants to commit more felonies.
Yep.
He decided that he has not committed enough felonies this episode.
Yeah.
He needs to amp it up.
Yep. Patone calls Richie at the barge and says, if you ever want to see Maya again, you're going to come here. And yeah. So he goes outside. He buys. Now I'm embarrassed. I couldn't remember. What are those sticks called that the blind
Canes?
people use? But
Is that what they're
but
oh,
like
like a walking cane or a
the one where you tap the ground. Is that just called a cane?
seeing eye stick.
Seeing eye stick? Don't they have a name?
I think it's just a walking.
I swear they had a name. Anyway,
I'm not aware of a name.
so he has this thing, and so he's pretending to be blind.
Right. Also, I want to note that deleted scene that they like this episode in its original form would have had Richie dress up two
Twice,
different
yeah.
times.
So he's pretending to be blind, and somebody helps him across the street. Like he's staked out a cop. So now he's going towards the cop, and the cop is like, "Oh, I'll help you cross the street."
And Richie like reaches behind the cop's back and like lifts the gun off him.
Yep.
Yeah, that is so risky. That is also such a serious crime.
Yeah.
Almost everywhere.
Yeah. Also, when Richie's crossing the street blind, he like does a voice like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." Like you don't need to do a voice, dude. Like,
You don't also need to be old.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Shunny.
yeah, that's basically what he's doing. So he steals a cop. A cop? No, he steals a gun.
Also, one thing I wanted to note here is this is, I think, the first appearance of Richie's Big Star jacket. This appears in other episodes. Richie has this like black leather jacket, and on the back it just says Big Star.
Richie does show up, and it's a dark room, and Patone's there, and he's like, "Where's Maya?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?"
And he pulls the gun on him.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm going to...
Goes straight to 11.
Yep. And then the police bust in, and they're like, "We got you." And it's like, that's the guy that, like...
Broke into the house.
Yeah,
oh,
broke
yeah.
into my
He's like,
house.
that's the guy
Yeah.
that broke into my house. And so...
And he says he threatened to kill me.
Right.
Yeah.
So Richie's done.
Yeah. But then, so Maya is also there for some reason. I don't know why she needs to be there.
Yeah, she didn't have to be there at all. This could have just been a little scheme of his.
And Richie puts her in immediate danger by screaming at her, "Tell them that he's the murderer. Tell her about the earring that you found."
Right.
So
And
it's
also, great police work because nobody follows up on that, like, immediately. Like,
Nope.
none of the... There's, like, 6 cops there, and they're like, hold on, wait, like, just want to tell me about that real quick? Like,
Yeah.
before we leave? No?
Nope.
Okay.
They just cart Richie off, and that's it.
So now Maya's in danger
Yep.
because of this all Richie shenanigans. So then Tess comes, like, rushing back to the barge to tell Duncan, like, the lawyer called or whatever, and, like, Richie's in jail.
So then they go to meet him, and Richie's like, "Oh, you got to bail me out." And they're like, we don't have that in France,"
Right.
which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what their pretrial release system is like.
I looked it up. Yeah, they just don't have bail. It's up to the judge. It's, I guess, actually exactly what they say in the episode. Like, there's a short hearing, and the judge determines right then and there if you're able to go or not. And
That's good. The bail system is a corrupt institution.
there we go.
So,
Also, Duncan has a very funny joke. He's like, because the judge is away on vacation, so Richie's got to wait for a day. I don't know why there aren't multiple judges.
Yeah,
like,
there are.
The justice system does not go on hold. Like,
yeah. Also, in Paris, it's like, oh yeah, we're one of the largest cities in the world. There's only one person on duty who can possibly do this. And like in the United States, that's usually like a 24-hour operation. Like most places, there's like someone on call at all times for when someone gets arrested because, pretrial detentions are not good.
Yeah. So Duncan has a funny joke. He's like, "Oh, don't worry." He's like, the chef is probably French. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. Fruit steamer. So they basically let Richie rot.
Yep. But Richie warns Duncan that Maya's in danger now
Right.
because of this whole thing.
So Mac goes to confront his old pal Gabriel and arrives just in the nick of time as Maya's about to get the axe.
Yeah, Maya stabs Patone with like scissors or something, like because he starts really threatening her, and she runs off. And then Patone grabs his sword, which is just sitting like on the table with like the clothes.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What's that?" Like, I guess Maya never noticed it, and was like, "Oh, you have a fucking sword. Like,
Yeah.
what is
I
that?"
thought
Like,
I thought there was something on top of it.
I don't know. I just thought it was just
Yeah, I
there.
don't remember. Yeah. So he's going to get her, and Mac like makes a pretty dramatic entrance. He like jumps down from like
Like a catwalk. It's
Yeah.
like
Crunch.
yeah, he jumps down like 15 feet or more. So this set is, I think, pretty cool. Like, so this is Patone's studio. So all the walls are white, and then it has like these mannequin busts everywhere for like clothing design. It looks
Yeah.
like it would be the set of like a music video.
yeah.
But I think it's a cool backdrop. Like it reminds me a little bit of in For Evil's Sake, like the mannequin warehouse. Like it has a interesting visual look to it.
Yeah. So they have a fight. It's pretty cool. Matt gets disarmed at one point.
By getting a mannequin tossed at him.
Right. Yeah, he disarms him with the mannequin.
Yeah, so this is the second mannequin-laden fight scene we've had. I really like the lighting in this one, though, but I don't really feel like it was used to good effect. Like, it was kind of a neat-looking thing, but it never really became part of the action. Because you basically had, like, all the mannequins were being front-lit, and they're, like, these massive shadows were being cast on the wall. I was kind of expecting, like, the killing stroke maybe to be
be a shadow.
captured by those lights or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was a cool look because it was all black and white. Like Duncan and Patone are all wearing all black, so it's got this kind of stark visual look to it, which is cool. And then there's one bit of color, which I thought was again very music video-y, but cool. Like there's this red cloth strewn on the floor. So eventually, when the quickening does happen and Duncan chops Patone's head off, he falls into that red cloth. So it acts as this kind of proxy for blood, which I thought was neat.
And spoiler, Mac wins.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's like an odd bit to this quickening too. Like there's like an electric ghost that comes off of Patone.
Yeah, it's
like, what is this?
like a ghost.
Yeah.
Mac ate his soul.
Yeah.
But also, I think that the end of this is pretty satisfying for me. Like as like a storytelling thing. Like Duncan is not pleased with this. Like he
No.
starts like he gets like hysterical afterwards.
Yeah.
Like he is really upset about this, which I like when they kind of give a little bit more weight to these deaths and like
Yeah.
what it means to have to do that to your friend.
Right. Although here again, like they did seem very friendly in that first flashback we saw, but as Kyle mentioned, why is Duncan friends with this guy?
Yeah.
'Cause he's kind of an asshole. And it's kind of like the Kim Sum thing again. Like, this guy's like an insane supervillain. Like, why are you friends with him? Like, he's like, so I don't know.
I think I would have appreciated maybe if the second flashback wasn't just him stealing and them getting into, like, if this was this guy, like, if Pitone was Duncan's, like, I can cut loose on a weekend friend. Like, it's like, oh, like, this is like my drinking buddy guy. Like, it's like,
Right.
I don't act like this all the time, but like, he's a fun, like, definitely just a fun dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That would have been good.
And maybe that's why he's his friend. Like,
Yeah.
it's just one of those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he like finds out like, oh, wait a minute, this guy actually is kind of a scummy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, if I wish Duncan didn't know about the stealing all the time. Like,
Yeah.
maybe if they were just, like, good friends, going to parties all the time, and Duncan didn't realize he was secretly, like, stealing from these women behind their back.
Yeah,
That'd be better.
Even then, the stealing's not so bad. Compared to the other shit this
Yeah,
guy
compared
does.
to all the other kooky like serial murderer, like obsessed with beauty and its transitive properties, and like I don't know, that's nuts.
So the wrap-up of this episode is odd.
absurd,
Yeah, so
insane, cartoonish.
it's on the barge. Duncan's wearing this bright blue sweater.
Looks great.
Yeah, Richie comes up in some red flannel. I don't know. It's like Richie's like, oh, I'm sorry, and Duncan like shrugs. He's like, things change, and it's like, wait, what? Like 2 seconds ago, you were like crying hysterically because you chopped one of your best friend's heads off. Then like this quirky music comes on,
Yeah,
and it's like they're just best friends forever. Like they giggle, they laugh. He puts his arm around him, and
They
it's like
hug.
that's
Yeah.
it. And it's like,
And Richie is not still in jail.
exactly.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Well, this is all even more insane because it's like Maya saw Duncan enter this studio, and like he's headless in there now. Like,
Yeah,
when they
she must
find-
have been interviewed by the police at some point,
like,
right?
how isn't Duncan like?
If they haven't discovered his body yet, and they went straight to Monte Carlo.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, so she flees.
Richie says she left with some race car
Formula
driver.
Formula One driver.
Yeah. Oh God.
So first off, they never successfully prove that Pitone's the killer.
Right.
No.
That has never been proven. Also, the only piece of evidence they had was the earring, and the only person who can tie the earring to Pitone has fled. And we don't know whether or not the police were ever even made aware of this clue. Even if they were now, it's too late. That information is useless
Yeah.
without Maya. So they have nothing. Meanwhile, Richie is under arrest for burglarizing that place and assaulting him and I guess threatening to kill him. He has also stolen a gun which they found on him. Like he is facing like serious hard fucking time at this point.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, well, we let him out of jail for some reason. It's like, there's this weird shtick in the show where cops just give up. Like, they just decide they don't want to be a part of it anymore. So it's like, you can go home, kid. And it's like, you know what? Like, no, you are in deep shit, and we're going to come back to ask you who may have murdered this guy.
Yeah.
Who you just had a beef with.
Yeah.
By the way, what were you doing the night this supermodel was killed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can we look at that sword, Mac?
So some interesting behind the scenes stuff. In the DVD interview with Bill Panzer, so apparently the woman that plays Maya was like a super famous Paris model.
Wow.
Like that was like, I guess, a get for the show. The interview with him is really strange. He's just frustrated. He's like, yeah, people don't get how the industry works. Like, she was scheduled to shoot for 2 days and then was like, I don't feel like coming in tomorrow. Like, there's this photo shoot I feel like doing. And he was like, no. And she's like, yeah, but I want to do that. Can't you just reschedule? He's like, no. Like, so anyway, just a little fun tidbit.
Wow.
And then as far as the Watcher Chronicles go, Gabriel Pitone. He was born circa 1670 in France. His first death was in 1715 after robbing a chateau, and he was caught and hung.
Jesus.
But I would like to read some chronicles from this episode, because these are pretty good, as usual. So this is the chronicle for Gabriel Pitone. Sadly, again, this is written by a fucking watcher. Sadly, the fall 1993 collection from the House of Pitone will be its last. Say what you will about a man's morals or ethics, Gabriel Pitone's sense of style and an eye for feminine beauty enhanced generations of women.
Ugh.
Enhanced.
Granted, most of them were wealthy women, and many of them weren't quite as wealthy as they were before encountering encountering him. But Piton had the rare gift of making women feel truly beautiful. He made women happy. To many women, that's easily worth a strand of pearls or ruby pendants. What?
Until you realize that they've been stolen and that good experience you had is a lie.
Yeah.
Piton was drawn to beautiful things, especially expensive beautiful things he didn't own. Those beautiful things he claimed were his inspiration, and he needed to possess them. Sadly, for haute couture, supermodel Cynthia Hampton discovered his little secret, and Piton silenced her. Now the fashion world must carry on without the inspiration of the best designer of this or any age. What is this? Is this this is a fashion column article?
Yeah.
This is nuts.
Piton's watcher has an eye for fashion, I guess.
So then Duncan's chronicle for one of the flashbacks, it says it's written by a different watcher because they all have their authors listed here. But this reads just as weird and judgy as the last one, where it was Duncan's a fucking idiot. So this one says, although it's not my place to say so, I find I heartily disapprove of the company MacLeod has been keeping. Duncan MacLeod, as he has been chronicled, has been an upstanding gentleman for the most part. Now this reprobate Piton has him drinking to all hours and carousing with whores. Today, Piton stole a valuable necklace from the Marchesa de Micheli, and MacLeod helped the scoundrel escape with great glee. I shudder to think down what road to ruin Piton is leading him. It's what is this? I don't know.
I don't get it. I really don't. But I get the impression Duncan's watchers are always rooting for him, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I think this is a pretty decent episode, actually. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird one. There's a lot of really good things in it.
I like the flashbacks.
The flashbacks are very good. The fighting is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Duncan's training montage on the barge is great.
Also, by the way,
they just need to think more about these plots.
Yeah.
They really need to.
Tess is almost not in this episode, right? I feel
She's essentially 100% not in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She shows up at the fashion show, says almost nothing, and then plays chess with Richie for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think Richie can play chess.
Doesn't he beat her? He beats her.
Well, he's teasing her. I don't think he beats her, but
Yeah.
he makes a good move, and she's like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
They should be playing checkers. I think something Richie's speed. Thanks everybody for listening to this episode. It was a fun one. Make sure to like us on Facebook. Duh. Come on. How many times do we have to say this? Like us on Facebook, right?
Do it.
Write an iTunes review.
Write us
Please.
a review. Pretty please.
Come on. There's 30 seconds at the end of these episodes, and you got to hear me tell you what you don't do is not. What am I doing?
What are you
I'm
doing?
losing my mind.
What you don't do.
Anyway, send us emails at Highlander Rewatched. Just any old email. Forward some cat picture. Fuck you. Anyway, send us an email at HighlanderRewatched@gmail.com. Make sure to like us on Facebook and rate us on iTunes. Give us those golden stars, baby.
That's right.
Actually, I think, is that the name of the cafe they eat at? The Gold Star Cafe?
I don't know.
I think it is. Golden Corral.
Ooh.
Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Join us next week for episode number 20 of Avenging Angel. I've been one of your rewatchers, Keith.
I'm Kyle.
Amen.
Bye.
See you.
Bye-bye.
The TARDIS. If TARDIS and R2-D2 kissed.
I don't think you know enough about Doctor Who to pull off this bit.
Is Duncan a Time Lord?